Okay, so Bitcoin is right now creating yet another symmetrical triangle alongside with the fact that we have been consolidating in towards this consolidation range for over 20 days now. We are seeing all-time lows on the volatility chart being created, and at the same time we are about to get this volatile event getting released right now today for this inflation rate that will be getting released today. So volatility is to be expected, and I'm of course still my long position on Bitget with right now about 5.2k in a profit. So right now Bitcoin is literally in one of the most boring consolidation ranges. Literally nothing is happening and we are still consolidating in towards this range. Look, this is one of the most boring price action that I've ever seen for Bitcoin being created, but usually around during this boring consolidation, Bitcoin is actually just preparing itself for a next big move, and we can be seeing this all of the time happening for Bitcoin. Whenever you are seeing a boring period of price action, just like right here and just like right here, all of the time right after that happened, well, you could see major market moves being created. Right over here, it was just the start of the huge bull run, and right over here, well, it was a bear market bottom. So we are seeing the same exact boredom that we saw at the bottom and right before the huge bull run. And at the same time, of course, we are still consolidating in towards this range. And whenever we can be seeing this breakout, well, that would be the catalyst for a next move, potentially towards the upside. But of course, this move can also be towards the downside. And I think this new symmetrical triangle that we have been forming right now is going to be giving us the indication if we are going to be getting this move towards the upside or this move towards the downside. And of course, today we are also about to have our inflation rate data getting released, and that could also have a huge effect on the market if we are either going to be also moving towards the upside or towards the downside. But in the end of the day, these early signals that we are having a look in towards, of course this symmetrical triangle, are cool and all, but in the end of the day, I have been saying everything that really happens inside of this range is all just noise. So this symmetrical triangle right here is cool that we can have a look in towards this, but in the end of the day, what will really be decisive is if we are going to be breaking out towards the upside of this range or if we are going to be breaking towards the downside of this range. That is going to be the deciding factor right now for Bitcoin, and not really this symmetrical triangle. Now, one thing is for sure, I will be talking about this inflation rate report a little bit later in this video, but first of all, one thing is for sure, that I do think there is about an 80% chance that we will be breaking this one towards the upside. That is also the reason why I'm still keeping my long position right here on Bitget open. But basically why I'm still thinking that we are going to be breaking out towards the upside right here is because it just seems very likely. Having a look into what's the macro trend, we are still of course in this bear market recovery stage, and having a look into what's our on-chain data, well, we are not looking exhausted at all. We are actually looking like a lot more room for growth is still imminent. We are still able to move a lot higher before we are actually going to be hitting these overbought areas. Look, that is still why I'm thinking on the weekly time frame, we are still looking very good and we are still going to be hitting higher prices. So yeah, for the larger picture, it is of course looking very good. A lot more upside is still imminent, but for the very short term, of course, we are having our inflation rates, and at the same time, I think the funding rates are actually looking very good. We can be seeing that Bybit is even trading in negative territory for their funding rates, which of course means that Bybit, the majority of the traders are right now actually shorting the market, and of course we do know the majority is usually wrong in the market. So of course that could lead to more upside being imminent right now as well in the short term. In my opinion, these funding rates are looking actually very good and very bullish for the market. Now, other than that, of course, we are about to get our inflation rate right here today. And what will be very important in my opinion is the CPI inflation right now decreasing by about 0.9% from about 4% all the way down towards the forecasted levels of 3.1% towards the 3.2%. And in my opinion, if we are actually going to be getting the 3.1%, or the 3.2%, well, that would not really have an effect on the market because it is already priced in. But if we are going to be seeing lower levels than 3.1%, well, that could definitely be very bullish for the Bitcoin price. But we just have to have a look into towards how likely is it actually going to be that we are going to be jumping down our inflation rate with about 1% towards the downside in 1 month. Well, it is not going to be very likely in my opinion. And in my opinion, well, the consensus of about 3.1% towards the 3.2% is actually going to be very likely. Now, anything higher than the forecasted levels of about 3.2% is going to be very bearish in my opinion. If we are going to be getting higher CPI data than the 3.2%, that is going to be having a very bearish effect on the market. But what is really going to be very important is going to be the core inflation rate. This is really the thing that where the Fed is having a look in towards, and the Fed is really trying to get this core inflation rate down towards the 2% mark. And yes, this is expected to drop once again, but in my opinion, it is still looking very sticky. The core inflation rate is not really getting down towards the 2% goal. It is really sticking around at that 5% level for the past couple of months already, and that is not really looking good. Yes, of course, we are moving down, but in the end of the day, well, this is not really what the Fed is wanting to do. But well, the same goes, of course, for the core inflation rate. Of course, the market has already priced in this 5%. So anything lower than the 5% would be very bullish for the market, but anything higher than the 5%, well, that would be actually very bearish in my opinion for the market. And of course, if the result is going to be the 5%, well, then I would expect more consolidation in towards this range right here. So that is actually a very brief summary of what is going to be likely to be happening right here with this inflation rate. Markets are looking good in my opinion, but it will all be decided by the inflation rate, by the actual numbers that we will be getting today. So guys, make sure to follow me on Twitter because I'll be sharing it as soon as possible on my Twitter account and also in my Telegram channel. So be sure to be joining my Telegram channel. I will be giving you guys free updates about every single market development right now in the Telegram channel. So be sure to join that. And with that being said, I'll see you in another update video tomorrow morning.